Hello and welcome to the fourth session of Master Talk Inspiration series, wherein students get a chance to meet successful individuals who inspire them to dream big. Our previous talk left a lasting impact on the viewers. It has lifted students' confidence to ask questions and learn important life lessons from the guests' answers. And this is what Master Talk aims to do. And today, with another influential personality, our students and viewers will learn crucial life lessons about law and order. The Master Talk series will inspire and teach you valuable lessons to achieve your dreams and goals despite all the hardships. We are excited to bring an insightful session to you all today. I request our director, Ms. Niyati Kanakya, to introduce us to today's speakers.
The past year and a half have made us realize the value of invisible heroes in our society who work tirelessly for our welfare. Today, we have the rare privilege to talk to one such hero. Our guest today was a top cop in the Maharashtra police force who has solved some crucial and sensitive cases. His 36 years of service are full of intricate stories and risky rides that he went through to keep the city safe. He is a super cop who proudly wishes to be a police officer in every life. He has documented his life and career in his memoir, Let Me Say It Now. I feel proud to welcome the former Commissioner of Mumbai Police, Mr. Rakesh.
So this Master Talk series is an initiative by RBK students. RBK students to get inspired by accomplished personalities like yourself. So we are excited to really have you as a guest today and look forward to conversing with you on your inspirations, leadership, as well as your invaluable experiences as a highly decorated police officer. So let's begin.
Thank you.
The first question we have for you is, every child's dream is to be a superhero. For me, police officers are real life heroes. So who were your childhood heroes or inspirations while growing up?
See, at the outset, I would like to state that I am no accomplished personality. I am now retired, so I am a finished personality. So, having said that, Niyati, Rupal, thank you so much for having me come here and interact with youngsters like you. You know, talking to youngsters like you for a dinosaur like me, you know, it gives me a lot of inspiration and makes me feel young all over again. I remember my school days when I speak to youngsters. Now, answering your question, see, unquestionably, my childhood heroes were my parents, my father and my mother. There is absolutely no doubt about it. My father came in the 50s. You must be wondering, counting, you know. He came in the 50s to Mumbai and joined the film industry in Mumbai and settled down in Bandra. And we all grew up in Bandra. We are we were all total 6 siblings who grew up together in a house in the Bandra of old. I don't know whether any of you stays in Bandra. I don't think so. No. So the Bandra of old was totally different, and my father came and settled there, and we were all born in Mumbai. I went to a school called St. Andrews in Bandra. There is a St. Andrews High School in Bandra. And after I finished my schooling, I went to St. Xavier's College in Mumbai. And my father was my hero. He, I looked up to him. I wanted to be everything that he was. His mannerisms. I used to see him. He was a very hardworking, very diligent person. Very responsible both towards his job as well as towards his family. And and I would love, St. Andrews. I don't know what is the position now, but then we used to have school on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. Thursdays used to be a holiday. Friday, Saturday was working and Sunday was a holiday. So I would look forward to Thursday. Why? Because my father used to take me to his office on Thursdays. And I would love to go with him on Thursday to the office. Why? Because, the office was at Dadar. There's an old film studio there called Sri Sound Studio. And, diagonally opposite Sri Sound Studio used to be a hotel called Gupta Lunch Home. And I would love to go there to have food. So it was a ritual for me that I would wait for Thursdays, and my father would take me, and he would have his two assistants, Damu and Narayan, and he would tell Damu or Narayan, you take him for lunch. So I would go for lunch. Then once lunch was over, then depending on the movie, there is a Chitra cinema, in Dadar, diagonally opposite the Gurdwara. So he would tell them, take him for a movie. So I would get to see a movie also on. I loved going with my father, whether he went out for shooting, he went out for location hunting. I loved going with him, just watching him, observing him. My mother was a very, very religious person. She was very, very religious. She was not into, unlike film people, she was not into partying at all. She was very, very religious. And right from my childhood, she kept telling us that I want one son of mine in the uniformed force, whether it's the army or whether it is the police. One son should be in the armed forces. He should wear a uniform. So in my mind, right from that time, it was ingrained that, if at all if I have to have a career, it has to be wearing a uniform. So it went like that. My mother, my father, they never interfered in the career. They never interfered as to what, unlike now, I notice parents are very active participants in the kids' careers. What extracurricular activities, what hobbies, what grades, what sports, about maybe a little more than a decade back, my younger son was playing football for his school team. So one day my wife tells me, he wants you to come and watch his football match. So I was pretty shocked, because during my time, if a parent came to watch somebody's football match, he was regarded as a sissy. This fellow's parents are come to watch his match. So I asked him again, I said, you want me? He said, yes. So I went to watch at Don Bosco School. I went to watch the match. And lo and behold, I was shocked. Parents with video cameras and the ball is going in that direction. Their son is running in the opposite direction, but they are following. But that's how parents are. Today they are very active participants in the careers and the growing up of the child. My parents were very strict that you will not do anything wrong. Your company should be good. But they did not tell me take science. My mother never knew what was science, what was commerce, what was arts. But, I had decided by then that I wanted to take the UPSC exam, the civil services exam. So, the subjects which were there in the civil services exam, I had decided then. It is going to be history, political science, and international relations. These are the subjects which are going to be my civil service exam subjects. So right from college, I opted for those subjects and I started. So, they gave all the encouragement, all the blessings, without telling me, without putting pressure. And, this is my advice to parents today, that don't put pressure on the kids. You want the kid to be Neil Armstrong, You want the kid to be Virat Kohli and Sachin Tendulkar. Everybody cannot be. So each kid is born with his or her own capabilities and abilities, and they should be allowed to bloom depending on their capability and ability. So this is what my parents did, and that's how. So coming back to your question, they were my heroes right through. So one grew up with the thought that when I was growing up, the only thing I read in the newspaper, the Times of India at that time, the only thing I opened the first thing in the morning was the crime page. I used to open the newspaper and read the crime page. What has happened, how the police is detecting, how the police is behaving. So, subconsciously in my mind, the thought was there that this is the line for me, and that's how I went there. The books I read, I loved reading Enid Blyton. I don't know whether these books exist today. Have you people heard of those books? Enid Blyton, they had the famous five.
Yes, sir.
Used to have the famous five. So those famous five, they are in that village, and then something happens, and the local cop cannot solve the case, but the famous five solve the case. So how they detect the case, I loved everything. The only thing I demanded of my parents was that you make me join this library. I want to join this library so that I can get these books to read. So I read the entire famous five when I was in school. By the time I reached college, the books which I loved reading, there is Western, you get these Western writers, who on the Wild West of the US. So there used to be this person writing stories about the Wild West called Louis L'Amour. Now Louis L'Amour wrote many books on the Wild West. There was another author called Oliver Strange. Oliver Strange, the best book I've ever read so far. You people would laugh at the name of the book. The name of the book was Marshal of Lawless. Marshal of Lawless. The story is, Lawless is a town. It's called Lawless because they're all criminals in it. There is no law. And I'm talking about US, in the 1400, 1500, 1600, that sort of thing. And this people are frightened. Nobody wants to take up the job of sheriff or marshal of Lawless because it's a suicide mission. Whoever goes there is going to be killed by the criminal. So nobody wants to go there. And then you have this character called Sudden, Sudden. Sudden. He is called Sudden because he's so fast with the gun that before you realize, suddenly the gun is out. So Sudden is the hero, and Sudden takes up the job of cleaning up Lawless. And how he does it, he was my hero in the books. He was strong, he was courageous, he had a very strong sense of justice and fair play. He never liked anybody breaking the law, and he was very good in fighting. He was not frightened of anything. And in the end, he had a fantastic sense of humor. And in the end, he cleans up Lawless, and he is the hero, Marshal of Lawless. So this was my favorite book when I was growing up. Then in the US, there is a real character called Wyatt Earp. Wyatt Earp is a genuine US sheriff who died, I think, sometime in 1918 or something like that. And he claimed up a place called Tombstone. There is a very, even now on Netflix and other things, that film is there called Tombstone. This is another thing, the gundas, the bad characters take over Tombstone. Nobody wants to come to clean this place, and this Marshal Wyatt Earp, a real character, he comes as the sheriff of Tombstone, and he cleans it up. So these were my heroes. These were the books I read. This is what prompted me to join the police force.
Sir, what was the most rewarding part of being law enforcement, and did you ever regret anything about your job?
Never. I put in 36 years of service. I worked for 36 years in the police force. I enjoyed every second of it. Despite the stress, despite the pressures, I enjoyed every second of my time as a cop. And if you ask me, which other, many people ask me, my kids also ask me, if you were not a cop, what would you be? So I can't imagine life not being a cop. So I don't regret even a single moment of my life as a police officer. I have enjoyed every second of it. And I pray to the Almighty that, agle janam maybe, people pray for the same wife. I'm asking for the same job. I'm asking for the same job.
That's so great.
Sir, as you know that there has been a great rise in the women empowerment in recent times, but the ratio of women joining the police force is still very low. So how would you inspire today's aspiring women to join the police force?
See, what you say, there is some truth in it. There was a time when women did not join the force. It was regarded as an all-male domain. This job is not for women. But not so now. Not so now. Now, Maharashtra, our state, was one of the first states to come up with the legislation that 30% of all recruitment in the police force will be women. 30%. The same thing, all of a sudden, a whole lot of women have started joining the IPS. You had the first Kiran Bedi, you had Kiran Chaudhary, I had my batchmate Meera Borwankar, but now, if you see the younger lot, they are all, if you have a batch of about 8 of them coming into the cadre, minimum 3-4 will be girls. So women are coming into the force in a big way, and it is needed. It is the need of the hour, because the type of crime which is taking place. When I joined service in the 80s, the crime was basically very conservative, traditional crime. Robbery, dacoity, rioting, hurt. These were the type of, dacoity was a great thing, So in the 80s, that was the trend. Towards the end of 80s and beginning of 90s, the underworld started coming up. It was the underworld which was there. They threatened the film industry, they threatened real estate, they threatened businessmen. So the underworld was, the priority for the force in late 80s, early 90s. Then towards the beginning of 90s, end of 90s, we started getting the phenomena in Mumbai, Maharashtra of urban terrorism. You started getting terrorists. There were some terror attacks. You all are aware of the 93 terror attack. So that started at that time. So that was priority from the 90s to the 2000 decade. But then towards the end of 2000, the priority, I don't say it was, terrorism and underworld were not a priority, but a very, very important subject warranted the attention of the police force. And that was crime against women. You all are aware of the Nirbhaya case in Delhi. We had the Shakti Mill case in Mumbai. So, all these prompted a slight switch of concentration, and the security of women and children became a priority. So, with all this happening, the introduction of women, people started saying, if a woman complainant has to go to the police station, who will attend to her? So you started getting more constabulary, more officers in the police station who were women, to attend to them, to take care of the problem of women and children. Special cells began, women cells, all women cells, which would only tackle women crime. So, today the priority 30% the force is being recruited, the force which is being recruited are women, and more women are coming into the police force and doing, I must say, doing very well.
So coincidentally, the panel interviewing you today are all girls. So we're glad to hear that.
Yeah. I think this gives an answer to your question. I don't need, there was no need for me to answer this question. I think this was an answer by itself. Women, it's a very important, there is nothing that a woman cannot do. There is nothing that a woman cannot do. And women today all over in every walk of life are breaking all barriers, all walls are being broken. To the extent that in some of the advanced countries, women have now also become active combatants in war, in the army. We've got, in India, we've got Air Force pilots, women who have become Air Force pilots. So every barrier is being broken, and you people should not think twice before, oh, this is only a male domain. There is nothing like a male domain today.
So moving on, at times when you handle high-profile cases, you must be under tremendous stress. So how do you handle that?
No, handle the case or handle the stress? Handle the stress. See, once you wear a uniform, stress and pressure is part of it. There is no running away from stress and pressure. There was a study which was conducted in the US, and in that it was found that police officers on a very regular basis are tackling incidents which are fraught with danger, and there is always some danger, something lurking around the corner, and the police officer is, a control room gives a call that there is a fight going on somewhere. First people to come on the spot is the police. A control room gives a call, the neighbors are complaining something is happening in that flat. Police goes there. If there is a terror attack, the police goes, you will always find the police going in the direction of the incident from where everybody else is running away. So that is the job of the police. Now, because of this, just prior and during handling of these incidents, the stress levels in the human body increase. I'll elaborate on this a little bit. Now, if I am told that there is a gang war going on, two opposite gangs are firing at each other, the call comes and I am going to that spot. Now, just, when I am going to the spot, in my mind, the thought is there that there are bullets which are flying. Now, I have to take care of the situation. So, my body, the level of stress increases. So, just before I reach the spot and during my handling of that incident, the heartbeat increases. And there has been research, and there have been studies which have been done which show that during such episodes, the heartbeat becomes virtually double than a normal person. A normal person is 11 to 12 heartbeats per minute. At that time, the heartbeat is 23 heartbeats per minute. It is 23 heartbeats. So you can imagine, what. So the body is under constant stress all the time. In a day, I think the local constable, the local officers must be handling. See, because when you are told, go to this place, there is some problem taking place. You don't know what type of person that fellow is. He could be very aggressive. He could attack you. He could do anything. Or, many times you people must be fed up. You see the nakabandi there is a barrier put and the policemen are searching and checking vehicles. Now, you are sitting down in the car, अरे ये क्या कर रहे हैं, time मेरे को अभी, I have to go and meet my boyfriend, my girlfriend, I have to go for tea, I have to go for a movie, and nothing, these people are not wasting my time. But you think from the policeman's point of view, every car which he or she opens or makes, stops the vehicle to check, that policeman does not know what is going to be the reaction of the person sitting down inside. He could open fire at you. He could take you must be reading, that fellow has stopped. The traffic constable has been carried away in the car for this. We just had an incident about 15 days back where he was carried. That fellow stopped. That boy did not stop. He just drove him for about 100 meters and threw him off the thing. So you don't know what is going to happen. So the stress levels increase, and because of the stress levels increasing, this has an impact, a psychological impact on the body. And the long-term psychological impact of this is cardiovascular diseases, high blood pressure, obesity. You people laugh, when you see a fat policeman. But where is the time for the policeman to exercise? Many policemen, many constables in Mumbai stay as far as Kasara, Igatpuri, Khapoli. So they are performing 12 hours of duty, 2 hours coming morning, 2 hours going back in the evening. So 12 and 4 make it 16. Where is the time for the family? Where is the time for exercise? It's very easy to say, you see in the films, oh, the hero is very tough looking, he's up to this. It doesn't work. The hero is only doing work what the director has told him. All the time he's in the gym, he's working out in the gym. But the policeman doesn't get time like that. So, the policeman's life is full of stress and pressure. But you cannot, in your training you are taught, and over a period of time, experience teaches you how to handle stress and pressure. I am not saying that the police handles stress and pressure very well. On the contrary, there is a report in 2016, Dempsey and Faust. There was a report which was prepared, 20 police agencies in the US. The test was done, and it was found out that 37% of the policemen have serious marital issues. 37. 36% of the police have serious health issues. 27% of the policemen have serious alcohol abuse issue. 20% of the force has a problem between the parent and the child, and 10% have a problem with drug abuse. So it is there, the pressure is there, but experience teaches you how to handle it. You are lucky your family is there with you. The family helps you tide over the problems. Suppose you are lucky to get some good friends, you tackle with friends. You are lucky to get good seniors. The seniors help you during crisis situation. And you are very lucky if you get good subordinates. Otherwise, वो तकलीफ में अच्छा है, इसको ऐसे ही है, बहुत खराब है, हमको बहुत तकलीफ देता है, इसको ऐसे होना चाहिए. So you are lucky to get good subordinates who form a good team and help you during crisis.
So you mentioned that parents shouldn't pressurize their children, but nevertheless, students go through a lot of pressure and stress. Would you like to provide any advice to students who face pressure?
See, stress and pressure is there everywhere. What is life without stress and pressure? again, there was a study, and in the study, the students said that they are spending 3 hours every night at home doing homework, in addition to the full day spent in the school and the extracurricular activities which they are supposed to do. 3 hours they are spending to do the homework. I have seen my kids doing projects, till 1 in the morning. 7 o'clock he has to board the bus to take him to school, but he is doing the project at 1 o'clock. So this 3 hours, I think, is a very conservative. So 3 hours the kids are doing that. The kids say that because of this is causing them depression, feeling of sadness, persecution, and feeling of being overwhelmed. Right? What are the pressures which you people, the students, face? Pressures which you are facing. Homework, projects. You have to complete homework and projects. Number 2, extracurricular activities. I told you, every parent wants the son to be Virat Kohli, Sachin Tendulkar. Every parent wants, the son should be a piano expert. The girl should be Kathakali, Kuchipudi expert. So, there is so much pressure because, bagal ka bachcha jo hai, see how he stood first in class, but he's also doing, he's in the maths Olympiad. He may be in the maths Olympiad, he doesn't go to the ground for 5 minutes. At least I'm going on the ground and I'm playing. So there is a lot of pressure even on extracurricular activities. Then there is competitiveness for challenging courses. There is so much competition. You go to a school or a college, you say, I don't know what is the subjects now which are in great demand, but there was a time when business management, IT was in great demand, but only 30 seats. Applied, 3,000 people have applied, but only 30 seats. So there is so much pressure on you that you have to get in. Your parents are hoping that you will get in. Your school is hoping that ye to hamare school ka tara hai. They will get the thing. So there is pressure to get into these challenging courses. Then studying and acing, college placement tests. Everything now is an entrance test. I won't be surprised if, there would be, the parents would say, before you enter this house, you have to give an entrance test. Everything there is an entrance test. So you have to study and ace that test. So again, there is pressure. Then at your age, what marks am I going to get in the 10th and 12th standard? What am I going to do after 10th and 12th? What are my career options? I want the moon. But everybody, how many people in the world have gone to the moon? But the pressure is there. You must do well. The parents put the pressure, the teachers put the pressure, your peers put the pressure. You may be having friends, or that fellow has got, I was just reading. My wife was telling me that in her college in Delhi, the cutoff percentage is 100%. I said, are you sure? He said, yeah, it is 100%. What cutoff? 100%? What? You are only taking, only Einsteins are coming inside. No normal human being is coming into that college. So there is so much pressure on you people to do that. And then a very important source of stress. I like that girl. I like that boy. How am I going to date? She's not talking to me. She's talking to the other fellow. That fellow has a nice fancy car. His father is rich. He's, so all this thing puts pressure on kids, on you people. There is a lot of stress. And this causes massive problem. You ask me how you can cope with this. See, you in life, one has to be realistic. The most important thing is you have to be realistic. What I can achieve, what I cannot achieve. Short-term goals. 10 standard, my thing is, I must get this much percentage. What I'm going to become in life is this. It's so short-term goals. Another very important thing for stress control is getting regular 8 hours of sleep. Sleep deprivation in kids is a massive, massive issue. Because you people have got so much on your plate. School jao, extracurricular activities karo, come back, do your homework. Then after the homework, you have to do, this mobile chatting. Then Instagram, Facebook, or there is some show going on TV, you want to watch that show. So you are cramping too many things in 24 hours. At your age, 24 hours is less. You tell God, make every day 36 hours. That also will be less. So you are cramping too many things. So learn to prioritize. What is the priority? This is what I need to do. I have to submit this project. For me, this is the priority. Once I submit this project, then I am okay. That prioritization is very important. It will help you in time management. In your case, time management, the most crucial thing for stress in kids is time management. You people do not know how to manage your time. You have got too many things coming into your head. I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that. I also want to do this, I also want. Parents say do this, do that. Teachers say do this, do that. What all are you doing? So prioritize and time management. That is very, very important. Hobbies. We must have hobbies. During my worst stress, things were this, a blast has taken place and, the press, the media, the government, the department, all are asking me, what are you doing? Why this case is not being detected? There is so much pressure, there is so much expectation. How pressure comes? Pressure comes from expectation. You are expecting too much from yourself. Your parents are expecting too much from you. Your teachers are expecting too much from you. You want to fulfill those expectations. Because of that, there is pressure on you. So there's so much pressure. You detect the case, you detect the case. 23 heartbeats in a minute. When I was quoting my wife, my heart never beat so fast. It was beating much faster at that time. So I always went, no matter what time it was, I went to the basketball ground to play my basketball game. So you must have a hobby, you must play something, listen to music. Unfortunately, today, I don't know, the music also gives you tension. Rap and, I don't know, the speed with which they sing the song, how are they singing? Music is supposed to be calming. Listen to good soothing, what are the adjectives used with music? Soothing, calming. Today's music, I don't know, it creates more tension, I think. And the lyrics also, you keep abusing people during the song. So what calming effect is there? Listen to good music, calming music. Do what you like to do best. Talk to your parents. Nowadays, I've noticed kids don't have time for the parents. Equally, parents don't have time for the kids. They are too busy in their careers. More, you have today both parents working. So they come home, they are tired, they have their pressure in the office. So they come home and, you have Swiggy and you have, what is the other thing? Nobody cooks, everybody is phoning up. The kids are phoning up, ye khana mangao. Father is phoning up, ye khana mangao. The mother is phoning up. So, that thing. So, learn to talk. Learn to talk. When my kids were growing up, irrespective of this, I was an absentee father. My wife acted as the mother and father to the kids. But once a week, maybe a Sunday, maybe this, depending, once a week, we always had a meal together. We sat and we had a meal together. I would leave my office at 11 in the night. Both my sons would be waiting up for me, projects. They would be waiting up for me, but I would go to their room. I would spend time with them. And, go when you're stressed, when you're tensed, just, go hug your mother, go and hug your father. People, the kids nowadays feel ashamed to hug their parents. Girlfriend you can hug, boyfriend you can hug. Why you can't hug your parents? So you must, go and hug your parents. It relieves. Go and talk to them. Tell them what is the stress. Tell them what is the pressure. I'm sure they will understand. Today that dialogue is not there. Then good eating habits. Have a good diet. I told you Swiggy and Zomato. Or Swiggy, or what is the other thing?
Zomato.
Where they serve food, you can call for food, or it is a good diet can either boost your brain power or it can sap your mental energy. So eat healthy. Positive thinking. Think positive. You don't think all the time, I'm finished. My father wants me to be an astronaut. मेरे को साला giant wheel के ऊपर बैठने में डर लगता है. So, now what? Learn positive thinking. I'll get over my fear. And, get to, how do you overcome pressure? You overcome pressure by doing the thing which you don't like to do. You have these commandos. Like the Navy SEALs, we have the Green Beret or the commandos. They go to the worst of situations, where it's a question, second life and death. But they don't feel the pressure. Why? Because they are what is called habituation. You are repeating the same incident in practice. So you get habituated. So this maths test, I get lot of pressure. Keep practicing that test. Keep doing it so that by habituation you. So positive thinking, and then organize your life. I've seen kids' room full of clutter. You don't realize clutter causes tremendous stress. You go to a room which is organized, you feel calm and you feel okay. You try it out and you go to a room which is full of clutter. Kapde idhar pade, books idhar pade, CDs are fallen there, headphone is fallen there, the ball is lying there. A typical boys or girls room. Learn to organize, declutter, and you will see it will make a whale of a difference. So this is the way I feel you can de-stress. I de-stressed by speaking to my family, by speaking to my friends, listening to music, going on the field and playing. It helped me de-stress.
So when one holds such a challenging office such as Commissioner of Police, and that also for a huge city like Mumbai, how are you able to deal with issues such as delegating responsibilities, knowing that you're ultimately responsible for the actions of your juniors?
See, that is what a leader is about. What is leadership? Leadership is when you are directing, guiding, influencing people. So if you are a leader, you have to take everybody with you. You cannot be omnipresent. I cannot be everywhere at the same time. So I have to have a team. I have to have team members who will take up this responsibility. They will take up this responsibility, and I am confident that if I send him to that location, he will take care of the situation. But if I, if I have in my mind, I think I don't think he'll be able to do it. This fellow, no, I don't think he can do it. Only I'll be able to go and do it. That is wrong. A good leader delegates. A good leader delegates. You are building the confidence of your team if you delegate that responsibility. I'll give you an example. There was a whole lot of shootouts took place in the city, and in a week we had 3 to 4 builders and others who were shot dead. And the media, the press, everybody, had created this huge thing, intelligence failure, the police does not have any intelligence. And once upon a time, Mumbai police was second only to Scotland Yard. अब देखो क्या हो गया, एक हफ्ते में 4 लोग मर रहे हैं, इनको कुछ मालूम नहीं है. So there was a lot of pressure, there was a lot of stress. At that time, some informant came to me and told me that, in these shootouts, these 2 fellows are involved. You are searching for them. No full names. Like Purshya. Purshya could be Purushottam, could be anything. And Ramya. These are the 2 fellows, and they are going by the Punjab mail because the police has put so much pressure on the city. The gang bosses in Dubai are very concerned, and these 2 are their best shooters. So they are taking them out from the city. They are going by train to Delhi, and from Delhi to Nepal, and from Nepal they will be flown out of the country. Now, Punjab mail a train with only 2 names, Purshya and Ramya. Now, when this was told to me, I called my team and I told them, this is what is the information. You have to board this train. From Mumbai to Delhi, you have to sit in the train and check each and every passenger and find out who's Purshya and who's Ramya. Right? Now, I delegated it to them because I had the confidence that if I give it to them, they will do their best. They may not succeed, but they will do their best. And in my heart, that thought is there that I tried my best. See, all of you remember one thing. You may not succeed in what you do, but you should have that satisfaction deep in your heart. No need to show it to the others, but deep in your heart, you must know that I tried my best. I couldn't have done anything more. So I knew that this team I made them, I put them on the train. We got black coats of TTs, ticket checkers, and they started checking the train. And 35 minutes before the train reached New Delhi railway station, there's a place called Nizamuddin, which comes just before Delhi. So at Nizamuddin, my fellows were able to identify these 2 chaps. They were sitting separate, they were not even sitting together. They had so much precaution they had taken. They identified these 2 fellows and we nabbed them because delegation. I could have thought कि ये इनके बस की बात नहीं है. It is impossible. It is superhuman to do something like that. But a leader delegates, a leader has confidence in the team, and because the team knows that the leader has trust and faith in them and has delegated the responsibility to me, they will also work hard and they will make sure that the thing succeeds.
Sir, your investigation skills are so well spoken about and appreciated. So could you explain a few investigation methods?
See, investigation, interrogation, it is an art. You see films. What is interrogation? There will be a chair and that poor fellow sitting down on the chair. There are 2-3 lights on that, and you have this burly looking fellow with thick mustache. He's there. 2 raps from behind, 1 kick from the front, bowl. And then that fellow gets, after beating and all that, he comes and see, that doesn't happen. You know, a good investigator, a good interrogator does not depend on third degree. A good investigation does not end with detection. A good investigation, when you think that you have detected this case, but you have to think that this case is going to be prosecuted in the court. My success will be if this case ends in conviction. That fellow see, for the criminal, going to jail is no problem. It's a second home for him. In fact, most of his best friends are sitting down inside. So for him, there is no problem going into jail. He's going to his second home. And how much will he be there? 3 mahina, 4 mahina, 5 mahina, 6 mahina. He's sitting down there. And the underworld, you know, takes care of its people inside the jail. You know, every gang member who goes inside the jail, there is a kitchen outside the jail where breakfast, lunch, dopahr ka nashta and night ka dinner is made. There are vehicles which carry, they get an order from the court that, you know, because of health problem, he needs home food. So everything is going to them. In fact, he's getting better food than what his wife is cooking. His wife may not be a good cook, but he's getting good food because the gang, that they hire good cooks. So he is sitting down easy there. And he knows that when this matter investigation is over, ये तो पुलिस अपने को 14 दिन 15 दिन का तकलीफ देगा. उसके बाद में I am very cushy. My gang will take care of me. You know, the gang has people who go and threaten witnesses. The case comes up after 3 years, 4 years. The case comes up in the court. By that time, the officer is transferred. Somebody else is the investigating officer there. He or she is not interested. The gang hires the best lawyers. I'm not saying a prosecution is bad, they are good, but you know, where these people are on 40,000 rupees a month or 60,000 rupees a month salary, those lawyers are charging 1 lakh per hour. So they get the best of lawyers. So they know that, you know, nothing happens. So a good investigator will not only detect the case, he will ensure that it reaches its logical conclusion. And what is the logical conclusion? The logical conclusion is so and so gets convicted. This, you know, it has to end in conviction. But I know you people must have heard of this gangster called Gauli. Arun Gauli is a gangster. Throughout his life, he had so many 60, 70 cases against him. He never got convicted in one case. Not a single case he got convicted in. We had a shootout where a municipal corporator of the Shiv Sena, Kamlakar Jamsandekar in Andheri, very close to this place. He was sitting down watching TV at home. Some fellow entered the door. Some people entered. Thap, thap, do goli mara. He died. The police arrested some accused and said the case is detected. I came as joint CP crime. And when I was sitting down in the office, one of my officers comes to me and tells me, sir, that Jamsandekar accused, I have got some information. So I told him, I said, Jamsandekar, the case is detected. The police already the accused are in the police, sir, wo sab dummy accused. The real accused, I can get you. I said, okay, you get. So then we got the real accused. And then we found out that this smart cookie, this Gauli, what he knew there was going to be a lot of pressure on the police to detect this case. So he got some scapegoats. You confess that you have done it. And those people confessed, the case got detected. The real accused, who were the real shooters, you know, like how a surgeon is a rare commodity. A good dentist is a rare commodity. A shooter is a rare commodity. So for the gang, the shooter is very, very important. The gang does not want the shooter to be caught. So he kept them aside and his name should not come. So you had dummy accused who agreed to the crime. So we got the real accused, and from their interrogation we found out that this whole, what you call supari, you must have heard of this word supari. Supari is contract. This whole contract to kill this fellow was taken by Arun Gowli. So we arrested Arun Gowli and we made, how we went and we arrested him. That's a huge story by itself. Anyway, we arrested him, we brought him, he was in custody. I got transferred out of crime branch and I came into the anti-terrorist squad. And one day in the night, that officer gives me a call, ki sir, the witness, he is supposed to testify in the court day after tomorrow. Today, some people from the Gowli gang went to Konkan, went to Ratnagiri. And Ratnagiri, they went and they threatened him there that, this is 25,000 rupees. Either you take this 25,000 rupees and you keep quiet, or you don't take the 25,000 and we kill you and you are not able to testify. So they threatened him there. So then again, I spoke to the concerned, I sent my team, we built confidence, we made sure, and this fellow was such a smart cookie, he did not want his name, so he had got himself admitted to Justlock Hospital. So I am in hospital, I don't know who went to this. So we built that confidence in this fellow, and he confessed, he testified in the court. He testified in the court and it led, Gowli is still in custody in that case. One and only time in his life he got convicted was in that one case. He got life imprisonment in that case, and he still, you read the newspaper and you say, Gowli is come, his mother is not well, his wife is not well, he's come for 7 days parole. So he is in jail in Nagpur, convicted, and so what I mean to say is, investigation is an art, and investigation, you need long-term, you cannot think of only detection, you have to plan for prosecution itself. And it is a lot of hard work. Interrogation is a lot of hard work. It is not just beating people. Who's the criminal? Before you enter the room to interrogate the criminal, I must know. It's like a surgeon going in for a surgery. Can you imagine a surgeon, the patient is lying on the table, the surgeon doesn't know what he is, iska kya karne ka idhar, sar kaatum ki pet kaatum, kya kaatum. So you have to understand the patient. You have to know about what this patient is about. What is his problem? And for me, the greatest thrill in my life was interrogation. Somebody would give me, I felt I was one of the famous 5, in the Enid Blyton books, when, a case came up, nothing, you don't have anything in the case. You have to start from scratch and get the case detected. And then when you feel he is the suspect, so I bring him. Then between him and me, the interrogation which takes place is like a game of chess. He does not know how much I know. Right? He is the accused. He does not know how much I know. As a good investigator, interrogator, my professionalism is making him feel that I know everything, although I don't know anything. Have you understood what I... So it's a game of chess. And he's trying to assess me, I'm trying to assess him. And then, when he breaks and he confesses, it's, the adrenaline rush which is in your body, it compensates for all the stress and pressure. So that's investigation. It's an art. There are constables and officers who are brilliant in this thing, in investigation, in the, in the police, like in every sphere of life, you have experts. There is somebody who is very good in paperwork. Somebody who is very good to go and keep a watch. There is somebody who is very good who knows the law. You know, you can't have, if I put a fellow who doesn't like to go and watch, it can create a problem for me. We had a case where, again, a gangster, we got information that this, again, some shootouts took place, but we got information that on this PCO, there is this underworld shooter comes to this PCO to make a call to the boss in Dubai. So I got this information, I sent a team, I said, go and keep a watch. So again, you know, you don't understand your team properly, you don't know what their strengths are, their weaknesses. As a leader, you should know what the strength and weaknesses of your team is. I can use him or her for this work. I cannot use for this work. I can use these two for this work, but I cannot use it. So understanding the strengths and weaknesses of your team is very important. I failed to do that. You know, when I got this information, I called somebody, jara jaake wo PCO ke upar watch rakho. So these fellows went to the PCO, and for 15 days they kept a watch and said ki sir kuch nahi, you know, there's nothing. So I told that informant, I said tum galat information deta hai. You know, my fellows 15 din ka time waste kiya, and you know, nothing. He said nahi sir, mera information wrong nahi ho sakta. Anyway, forgot about it. After 3 to 4 months, that fellow got caught. We caught that criminal. So in my mind, the thing was, I must find out how my trap failed. So I told my child, bring him to me first. So he was brought, put in the car, and he came very sheepishly, he stood in front of me. I never asked him, tune ye kiya, wo kiya. I told him, how did you escape that PCO trap? Please tell me, how did you escape the PCO trap? And he told me, he said, sir, वो PCO वाला जो मालिक है ना, मेरा दोस्त है. So your chaps went, they kept a watch there for 2 days, 3 days. Then after 2 days, 3 days, my fellows got tired. It's, you know, they were not good at this work. Keeping surveillance, keeping watch, you need tremendous patience. You're just sitting down in one place, and you know, you're taking a sabji ka handcart, and you're pretending to be a vegetable vendor, and you're there for days and months together, you know, selling vegetables, but keeping a watch who's coming and who's going. These fellows are not good at it. After 3 days, they got bored. Opposite the PCO, there was a Udupi hotel. You know, so they went to the Udupi hotel, called that PCO fellow, showed him the photograph of that criminal, and said, "Ye aayega to hum samne baitha udhar signal karna." And that was the end of the surveillance. That fellow was his best friend. He went outside and made a call and told him, "Idhar aa raha, trap hai." So end of this. So one, you know, you need to know the strength and weaknesses of your this, and use that in investigation in this. So I was lucky. I deem it as it's God's blessing on me, and the blessings of my parents and my seniors in the department who gave me this opportunity to do this, and I was lucky. But then again, you know, that lucky is a very dangerous word. You know, I had a senior who used to always tell me, he says, what is good luck? Good luck is when opportunity meets preparation. I'm repeating. What is good luck? Good luck is when opportunity meets preparation. And what is bad luck? Bad luck is when lack of preparation meets reality. So I kept this in mind. You have to prepare. You have to prepare. That is the only way you can succeed. So investigation, interrogation, this is what it is.
Sir, excelling UPSC examination is no small feat, and it's just so amazing to hear that you got to the examination in your very first attempt. So do you have any advice for students who might be aspiring to take up this examination?
See, all examinations are tough. If everything was easy, you would be having everybody, IAS, IPS, foreign service, surgeon, specialist, you know. So all exams are tough, but you've got to be focused. People will tell you, लाखों अपेयर होते हैं, nothing happens, nothing is, they will tell you that it's a very tough exam. Everything is tough. Everything is tough. You try crossing the signal in peak traffic. Isn't it tough? You don't know when the car will come in. So everything in life is tough. Stay focused. Stay focused. If you have decided you're going to do something in life, no matter what the distractions are, you've got to keep it in your mind, I'm going to succeed. There was a very famous president of the United States called Theodore Roosevelt. You've heard of Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt said, keep your eyes focused on the stars, but your feet firmly on the ground. So, if you have set yourself a target, make sure that you are focused towards that, irrespective of what the distractions are. There are so many distractions. We were lucky during our time, one TV, एक दूरदर्शन का channel. On Sunday, that some TV program would come, some film would come on the Sunday. Rest of the week, they used to be all useless programs, so we didn't know, and we didn't have this distractions with us, this laptop, this tablet. It's the worst tablet. You swallow this tablet, you're gone. So, you need to be focused. You need to have time management. You need to say, this much I am going to study. I must put in these many hours of study a day. You need to keep your body in good shape, good health. And, success doesn't come easy. You have to pay a price for success, and don't get bogged down. Don't get frightened. There is a saying, for the timid, challenge is frightening. For the timid, the challenge is frightening. For the comfortable, the fellows who, कि मेरे को कुछ नहीं यार, मेरे बाप का गल्ला है, मेरे को गल्ले पर बैठना है. I will take up my father's business. This is the comfort thing. So for the comfortable, challenge is threatening. Or he's telling me to do this, he's threatening me, and I don't want to do this. But for the confident, challenge is an opportunity. So don't be the timid who gets frightened. Don't be the comfortable who gets threatened. Be the confident person who treats every challenge as an opportunity. So treat it as an opportunity. My mother used to always, when we were growing up, my mother, I told you, was very religious. She couldn't speak English. She had come from Dharamshala in Himachal Pradesh, and straight from there she came to Mumbai. She was transplanted from there into Mumbai society. Poor thing never knew English, but she was worldly wise. She knew what the world was about, and she used to always tell us, all the children, she would tell us, do not let an opportunity pass you by. Opportunities are very rare. When they come, don't let it pass you by. So whenever the opportunity comes, jump at the sun. Her thing was jump at the sun. You may not land on the sun, but at least you have taken off the ground. This is what she would say. Jump at the sun. You may not reach the land on the sun, but you will take off. At least you made a beginning, you have taken off from the ground. So don't get bogged down. Take, UPC, it's a fantastic. Today, in today's times, so many IIT, IIM people are joining the civil services. It's a huge challenge. The civil services, the amount of work you can do, it is such a challenging job. So don't get cowed down. Work hard, be focused without losing sight of what is happening around you, and you will succeed. You will succeed. There is nothing like you cannot succeed.
Thank you so much for your advice, sir. When children ourselves, we know the mindset is pretty sensitive and scared when police is involved. So we are interested to know how you and your team dealt with juvenile cases.
See, I told you earlier that we've reached a stage where crime against women and children are of topmost priority now. So we have cells in police stations, in districts. We have women and child cells who are trained to deal with crime against women and children. And I'll tell you, kids can be devious. You think yaar bachcha hai, but sometimes the kids can outdo the criminals when it comes to crime. Again, I was joint CP crime, and somebody phoned me up and told me that there is a college-going kid. College bhi nahi, he was 10th or 11th standard. And somebody had thrown acid on him. I said, is his father a criminal? Is his father some businessman? Is his father a builder? His father is somebody in the share market or something like that. So somebody, that the criminals are trying to extort money. They are trying to frighten him by throwing acid on the child. Bole, nahi sir, ye theek thak hai. They are reasonably okay. They are not. There are no criminal record. So I called that boy. He was in the hospital. Fortunately, when the acid was thrown, he put his hand. So this portion got burnt, and the right side of his cheek got burnt. But he survived. So I asked him, any enmity? He said, no. I said, any problem? Do you owe money to anybody? Are you in drugs that you have not paid for your drug fix? He said, no, nothing like that. And then, he every third day, fourth day, we would call him to ask him, what do you feel? What do you feel? And he used to be accompanied by 4 or 5 friends of his. They would all come with him. And there was this girl who used to accompany him, friend. And, many times when we would ask him a question, she would answer the question. Instead of him answering, she would answer the question. So, I told my officer, I said, find out who this girl is and ye kaun hai? He said, sir, uska girlfriend hai. That 10th standard kid's girlfriend. So I said, this is his girlfriend. I said, oh, his girlfriend, and she was pretty aggressive. You people have not detected the case. She's telling us, I have not detected the case as yet. What are you people doing? And this, this is the boy's parents are not asking me. She's asking me this thing. So I told my fellow, just find out. Let's keep a watch on her. And then we found out this girl was going around with him for the last 1 year. And this boy he's a good-looking kid. He must have been the hero of that school. And there were other girls also who were liking this boy. And this fellow had not put the fixed deposit as yet. I'm only going to get married to this thing. So he had his options open. If that girl, I may go there. If she asks, I'll go there. So he had his options open. Now this girl felt a little insecure. And she felt insecure that this guy's good looks are going to take him away from me. So she, not in that school, but in her locality, there were 1 or 2 other boys who liked her, but she did not like them. She called those 2 boys and said that I'll get friendly with you, but you have to do one work of mine. They said, what? They said, wo ladke ke upar acid फेंकने का. They said, Ki, why you have to throw? Well, no, that fellow in school, he's after me, and he's creating problem for me. So these fellows, to prove that they were true lovers, they took that acid and they threw on that this. So coming back to the deviousness of kids. Now, how do you deal with such kids? What do you do with such kids? And one feels very bad, because when a child is involved, a child is sent into a remand home. You don't go to the jail, you go to the remand home. No matter how rich a family you are, then you go to the remand home. And the remand home is a pretty tough place. Arthur Road jail is tough, but a children's remand home is tougher, because the kids there can make the life miserable of another kid. So the question before us is, what do we do in this case? Do we send to the remand home? We don't send to the remand home. So these are questions which come when we deal with children. Criminals who this, if the child is a complainant, there is no problem, because now the law says no need for the child to come to the police station. The women officer will go to the home, will record, and you have juvenile officers, in whose presence the statement has to be recorded. The kid does not have to come to the police station, because the environment, the kid may get overawed by the environment, may not like the environment. So the law has made it very clear that no need for the kid to go there. So there are ways where the law takes care of kids in this. And for the police force, a lot of training programs have been organized to show empathy and sympathy to kids. When they come, how they have to be dealt with, how they have to be spoken with. There are training programs, and you have special cells, child cell, women cells in police station who deal with these cases.
So, sir, you mentioned now only that how empathy plays an essential part in dealing with young offenders. So how important is it for police force leadership as well? How important empathy is?
See, it is very important. The moment the lower down, the subordinates realize that this fellow is not bothered about giving importance to women and child offences, nobody will. So leadership, I told you, a leader is somebody who directs. So the direction comes from the top. So the leader sends the word down. Ki women and child cases are of great importance. We have to accord topmost priority to these cases. Then it flows down. Then everybody knows the boss is, he gives importance to these cases. We cannot treat these cases as unimportant. So that is why the leader has to be empathetic, has to be sympathetic to others. So it is very, very important.
So that makes me curious now, that were there any cases of children who got corrected or successfully rehabilitated?
Yeah, there are so many cases. There are so many cases of kids who got this. In fact, I know of certain cases where the child, not adopted, but the police officer took a liking for the kid, and even when the kid was in the remand home and all this, police officer followed the kid in the remand home. Then once the kid came out from the remand home, got him vocational training somewhere, sent him to the ITI, not IIT, but ITI. Sent him to the ITI, got him vocationally trained, got him a job, used his good offices to get a job. So many police officers do it like that. It is that. See, unfortunately for the police, only the bad things are highlighted and come out in the press. So many good things don't come out. This is not important. Batao, isne kya lafda kiya? That is what.
So you've probably been anticipating this question, but you've taken a lot of serious cases such as the 1993 bomb blast, 26/11, gang wars. So what were the lessons learned from those experiences?
See, I think what I have spoken to you in a way answers. See, the lesson is very clear. there will be dark clouds. There will be a lot of stress and pressure during these cases. When 26/11 happened, when the 93 blast happened, when the Taj blast happened, or when there was a gang shootout. There was so much pressure, so much tension on you to deliver. So, but at the back of your mind, it is there, I told you, in your conscience, in your heart, it should be, I am doing my best. Whether I detect it or not is immaterial, but I will do my best to detect it. So there is a silver lining on every dark cloud. And this is what I want to tell you people. You may face the worst of situation. You know, you get the correction paper before you. And then you suddenly realize, ye to maine kiya hi nahi. I have not done this. Or you may be, I remember when I was giving my UPSC exam, we had one general studies paper. It was right in the beginning. The second paper, morning was general studies 1 and general studies 2. In the second general studies paper, when I was I came to a thing where there was a graph and I started doing the graph. But I looked around, I said, none of these other fellows are doing graph. And the bell, the gong went, 30 minutes left for the exam to get over, 30 minutes left. I said, I've only reached question 4 out, you are out question 4. The other fellows have, they are tying up their paper and checking the paper. I said, what? And then I looked on top. You had to do any 6 out of 12. I never read those instructions. So when I read that, and what happened was the first 3 things, write 500 words on so and so. Write 5. These are all the big thing. I am writing 500 words. Those other fellows have reached, they have gone into objective this. So I finished the paper. My mood was off. I said, I don't think I'll be able to do well in this. So again, stress, pressure, everything is lost. क्या फायदा इतना पढ़ के कोई फायदा नहीं जरा bad luck है we keep saying bad luck not realizing it is your own mistake. So you don't give up, you don't lose heart. 26/11, 93, you don't, it happens. I wouldn't wish 26/11 on my worst enemy. What happened that night, I wouldn't wish it on anybody. The mental trauma that one went through, how that night passed, it's, it is so vivid in your memory even today, and you get goosebumps, the hair, whatever little is left stands up. So it's, but the underlining lesson is, every dark cloud has a silver lining. Never give up. You may be in the worst of situations. There is a thing, this too shall pass. Just keep that in mind. This too shall pass.
How prepared are we to handle a similar challenge, similar 26/11, like the bomb blasts?
I regard that it was our misfortune that we were the guinea pigs at that time. The world learned from our experience. Whether it was the 93 blast, the first serial blast was 93, or 26/11, the first time, something like that. You had blast plus siege situation plus attack on this. So today we are very well prepared. Post 26/11, a whole lot of changes have taken place. Whether it came to mental preparedness, anything in life, what you do, mental preparedness is the most important thing. Whether you are mentally and psychologically prepared for that. That night, no. Because, 26/11 was unique and unprecedented. Whether it was in the, in its execution or the sheer ingenuity of its concept. Who expected, that the ingress would be via the sea route? They would come by the sea. So it's, it was totally, something unprecedented. But now, another thing which we learned post 26/11 was prepare for the worst. Be foretellers of doom. Prepare for the worst. If everything goes well, okay. But if it doesn't, you are prepared for it. So we are prepared. Mentally, we are prepared. Materially, equipment-wise, we are prepared. That night, when the hand grenades were coming, when the AKs were our constables were with lathis and, not very sophisticated arms. They had hand grenades. If I'm quite sure you've been to the Taj and the Oberoi. If you see, it's like an atrium. Your hotel here is like an atrium. You stand on top and you control the lifts and you control everything. If you control the lifts, you are controlling everything. By the staircase, if anybody is coming, you're lobbing a hand grenade, nobody can come by the staircase. You're firing from top, nobody can come. So it was difficult, it was different. So we learned from there how. Then we had to wait for the NSG. The National Security Guards were flown in from Delhi. They were the experts to come and handle the situation. But today we have our own QRTs, the quick response teams. Every location you would see those, those bulletproof type of jeeps with fellows. So you have QRTs at strategic locations all over the city. So they are the first responders. They come in first. Then the state has its own Force 1 on the lines of the NSG. So we are prepared for that. You don't have to wait for outside help to come. We can take care of our own problem. Equipment wise, the best equipment the government gave, both the center and the state, the best of equipment came. The training to the people, whether it's communication, whether it is weaponry, everything. It's, today we are, we are prepared, and the response compared to that night, I think it will be a very, very professional response. Not that 26/11 wasn't, but whatever best we could do that night we did. But today we are on a much better wicket.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I think we've got time for only one last question.
All right.
Okay. So, this being our last question. Your life is an action-packed movie, which has indeed inspired shows and movies too. So, looking back, how would you summarize it?
See, I feel it was destiny. Destiny played a big role in this. My seniors had faith in me. The blessings of my elders, the faith and trust of my seniors to entrust these cases to me. And then, the team which I had, my juniors, very hardworking people. One of the reasons why I wrote this book was to bring out the role of the subordinates. They are the unsung heroes. The constable who went to keep a watch, the constable who went and brought the information, the sub-inspector who interrogated the thing, the sub-inspector who chased and caught that fellow. These are the unsung heroes. That is the reason why. So I was lucky and blessed that such teams were there with me, who had implicit faith in me, and I could tell them what I want and they executed what I want. So I feel it's destiny. Probably if there was some other officer in my place, he or she could have achieved the same result. So I think it's destiny which helped me there.
Thank you so much for your insights today. We've all had a great session.